I'm Mark James. It's hard to believe, but it's time once again for Beech Grove City Schools and BGTV to present the Mayor's State of the City address. And happy to have with us, as always, the Honorable Mayor of the City of Beech Grove, Dennis Buckley. And Mayor, first of all, belated Happy New Year, belated congratulations on another successful campaign. And I think all in all, if you reflect upon the last 4 years and certainly the last year, which we'll talk about a bit today, and then preview what's coming up in 2016, things are going pretty well in the City of Beech Grove.
Well, first of all, thanks, Mark. It's good to be here, and Happy New Year to everybody here. The election was quite an experience, and I'm moving past that and looking forward to leading for another 4 years. But I have to report the city's doing pretty well.
This is the fifth State of the City address that you will be giving. I believe it's the third year now that we've done this with you. I know it's commonplace. You see a State of the Union, you see the State of the State. It's not just pomp and circumstance. I think it's very beneficial for you as a mayor to use this as a bit of a conduit to let people know not only the successes that you've achieved, but also the blueprint you have moving forward for the city.
Well, this is a great way to get our message out of what's going on. I appreciate what the school's done for the city and what they've done for me. Few people know this, but I'm required by law to do this. I have to report once a year on the status of the city, and it's generally done before the last day of January. So it's good to report on the city. It's good to report what's going well, and it's also good to report on what we can improve on. So my report today is pretty good.
The successes, frankly, far outnumber, and I hate using the term failures, but there have been a lot of successes, most notably the downtown project. Many years needed, finally got done. But let's face it, you haven't rested on your laurels. Let's highlight some of the other infrastructure areas that we're focusing on now.
Well, we reconstructed Main Street. That was one of the first things that we did, which was probably the most important project that we've done. We've lined over 60% of our sewers now, which is really good. We redid the parking lot at Hartman Field, and we've done drainage projects all over the city, and our infrastructure is vital. I think we should pave roads, and we're doing that, and we're getting ready to pave when the weather breaks again. So these are things that we have to do as a city.
There's the mindset out there that everybody's street gets paved but mine, and mine's in the worst shape. So, people should know that it's not certainly throwing darts at a dartboard of a city map. Can you give them an idea how the prioritization works in terms of what gets paved and when?
Yeah, we go out and we assess roads. Myself and the Department of Public Works Director, we have roads that are very difficult to maneuver on because of potholes and they're just failing, and those roads get addressed first. When the weather breaks, we're going to redo Cleveland Street from 5th to 9th, and we're going to redo Detroit from 19th to 21st. Those roads are extremely bad, and what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the road out and start over. And that has been the normal pattern over the past 4 years, because if we don't do that, if we just pave, that's a Band-Aid, and within 2 or 3 years it'll fail again. So no, we're going to take the road out, do it right, and it will last 10 to 15 years. So we're looking forward to doing that.
Churchman going to change, especially in the area of sidewalks?
Yes, out here on Churchman Avenue between Emerson and Arlington, the Metropolitan Planning Organization has given us $880,000 to install sidewalks on the south side of the road. That project was originally scheduled to be completed in 2018, but it's been moved up 1 year. So this time next year, they will award the bids to do that project. And I think everybody who travels that road knows how dangerous that is, because you got people walking on the street.
So let's talk about development, economic development. What's on the horizon?
Well, we're working with Community Health Network. They're going to lease some space on Emerson Avenue out towards the interstate. St. Francis is starting to warm up again. If you've noticed, at the corner of 13th and Albany, the Alverno Administrative Services building, they still have their information services there, but they've moved back to Beech Grove, their visiting nurse services. So they have invested over $1 million in that building. And we're starting to see activity at the Medical Arts building. That's the building with the parking garage. They're going to gut that and redo the offices there, and then they're going to move their insurance services back. So that's starting to develop, and we will know the future of the hospital property by March the 1st. So we're looking forward to that. The retirement center out here on Churchman, they have a completion date set for April of this year. They have already started moving people into their apartments. So that is really, really good news. And, of course, our friends at Kinetrix Energy, they're continuing to develop as we speak. So there's a lot going on, and we just look forward to it being completed.
You might see references about an Indiana Department of Environmental Management program called Clean Community, a designation that Beech Grove now has. Explain a little bit about that.
We enrolled in the Clean Community Challenge through IDEM. That's the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. We wanted to meet their gold standard as a city. So we had to, it was about a year or two process. So we had to go through several steps, and we had to do air monitoring, our municipal building monitoring, sewer monitoring. We had to test creek water. We had to look at nature preserves, trees, the whole gamut. And then we had to, in order to meet the challenge, you have to have so many environmental initiatives over the first 3 years. Well, we met IDEM's gold standard and became a clean community. We're only one of 18 cities in Indiana that have met that criteria. I'm really happy about that. So now we do curbside recycling. We offer free shredding. We recently started medicine disposal in the lobby of our police department. We recycle light bulbs now. But I think the most important thing for me was that we used to have fueling stations all over the city for municipal vehicles. Had them in the park, behind the fire station, behind the police department, and out at DPW. Every tank that we've had has been removed. And the 2 underground storage tanks that we had at the police department and Public Works, those have all been taken out. The ground around there, which was contaminated, has been mediated. We've put monitoring wells in, and now all of that is cleaned up, and we're down to 2 above-ground tanks at the Department of Public Works, to where city vehicles can be fueled up. I'm really happy about that, because environmentally that is excellent news for us.
You touched on recycling. That's a relatively new partnership with Raised Trash Service. How is that going? All the parties involved seem to be pleased so far?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in getting totes out to people who want them to recycle. Raise has to do a better job with that. But for the most part, the program has really been good. It's taken off. I'm shocked at how many people recycle and how seriously they are about recycling. And our tonnage that we take to the dump and Covanta has dropped almost by 40%. Our trash bill averages about $17,000 a month. It's down to about $10,000 a month. And just in December alone, we recycled 32 tons of material. And you just think about that, Mark. 5 months ago, every piece of trash that we picked up was going out to the landfill.
Sure.
So, yes, it's been really good. We're not making a whole lot of money, but we're not losing money. But it's the right thing to do. So you'll see more programs come up later on.
The city's always had a great relationship with Beech Grove City Schools. I think in the time that I've been here, it's no accident that the relationship, I think, between the city and the mayor's office is strengthened. I think you deserve credit for that, as does our superintendent, Dr. Paul Kaiser, and certainly our school board of trustees. It continues to be a win-win partnership, if you will.
It is. We are blessed. I've said it all along. If we don't have a good school system and a library, our city's not going to be any good. And I meant that then, and I mean it now. We do a lot of things together that nobody knows about. A couple of them are, the school system comes out and gets all their salt from the city. Mm-hmm. The city comes and does the hot patch of potholes and things such as that. And we do the school resource officer for the police department here at the high school. And by the way, I've talked to our police chief about it. And this time next year, I'd like to have a second officer in the school system, probably at the middle school and South Grove Intermediate School. But I got a really nice email from a middle school teacher the other day about how important it is that there's a police presence in the school. They have it down at the middle school, and she was just tickled that the police are in the building to talk to students and intermingle, and it just makes it that much better for that environment. So those are things that we should be doing.
Well, simply put, someone pulls into the parking lot, and the first thing they see when they pull into the parking lot of any building in Beech Grove City Schools is a marked police car in the parking lot. That's a nice piece of preventative maintenance, security, whatever you want to call it, I think. Just having the car parked in front of the building.
Well, I remember when I went to school here and how it's changed over the years, but it's not like it used to be.
Sure.
And you know what? When I came in today to meet with you, I just couldn't walk into the building.
Right.
I had to be buzzed in, mm-hmm. and somebody came up and let me in. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're at now.
Sure.
And you know what? You have to protect the people that are in these school buildings, the students and the staff, because there's people out there that are bent on mischief and bent on causing harm to the people in these buildings. Why, I don't know, but that is exactly the right thing to do. They do it with all of the school buildings in Beech Grove, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't let anybody in here.
One last thing before we take a break and let you get to the address. The last election, for those that aren't up to speed with local media, I don't think I'm overstating it to say it became a bit contentious. You have stated publicly that this would be your last term. I'm sure that wasn't the determining factor, but was it a factor in that decision?
No, that wasn't a factor. I promised my wife and my cardiologist that I would not do this anymore.
In that order, of course. Your wife, yeah. Then your cardiologist.
Yeah, when I go to the cardiologist, I've learned over the past 6 years that I don't discuss politics, right, because both of them gang up on me.
I understand.
But I had already made my mind up. There were some things that I wanted to see happen. So I ran for a second term. My wife always supports me. My cardiologist, he was adamant. He didn't want no part of it. He didn't think I should do this. And I respect that. He saved my life. But I ran for mayor, and I won. My mind hasn't changed. I'll serve this term, and then that will be the end of my political career.
Well, there's 30-plus years of public service that's tied into that before you ever became mayor, too, that people might not be aware of. So
that was being a fireman was the greatest job I've ever had. But this last election for me and my family was horrible. It was dirty. It was divisive. My family suffered. I had my wife wouldn't even check messages on the phone. It was just a terrible experience. Probably one of the worst things I've ever went through. And I made my mind up when I decided to run that irregardless of how bad it was for me, I was not going to reciprocate. I was not going to be ugly. I was not going to say bad things about anybody. And I was going to run on what I've achieved. And I think the results speak for itself. But there are excellent young adults who would make good candidates for public office on both sides of the political aisle who won't enter politics because of how dirty it is. And that's a shame. So it was terrible.
Well, luckily now you can put all of that in the rearview mirror and focus on the task of handling the city's business. You've got 3 more years to do that, and we look forward to your State of the City address.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
When we come back, Mayor Buckley will deliver his 5th State of the City address.
Hello, my name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove, and I would like to present to you the State of the City report for 2016. We continue to make strides forward as a city, but we have a ways to go to catch up with our surrounding communities. We were once again very fortunate to make great advancements in 2015. We placed a 3rd new ambulance in service, continued to replace police vehicles, purchased a hot patch machine, purchased a new 25-passenger bus and transportation vehicle for the senior center, and purchased a 2nd leaf machine. These are much-needed improvements as we continue to improve the delivery of services to you. In 2015, we continued with infrastructure upgrades as we reconstructed Bell Fountain Street, corrected a drainage issue, and paved the Beech Grove Little League parking lot at Hartman Field, and we replaced the front driveway at the Department of Public Works. In 2016, we will continue to work on our local roads and streets with the replacement of Detroit Street from 19th to 21st Street, the replacement of Cleveland Street from 5th Street to 9th Street, the repaving of 11th Avenue from Detroit to Southern, and the repaving of 12th Street at Bethel and 11th Street. Our DPW director recently received notification from an engineering firm representing the city of Indianapolis that Churchman Avenue will be repaved from the roundabout to Perkins Avenue in 2016. This is very good news for our city. Recently, I had the opportunity to speak with House Speaker Bosma concerning funding for local roads and streets. I'm very interested in his initiative to raise funds for local government to pave roads. This is much needed and long overdue. In 2015, we corrected an age-old problem with drainage at the intersection of 9th and Buffalo, as we installed new drainage tiles and inlets. Personally, I think it's the best project that we have completed to date. In 2015, we completed the largest sanitary sewer lining project to date as we relined over 1 mile of sewer pipe. With the conclusion of this project, we have relined over 60% of the sewer system, We have to continue to work at this as we have to minimize the amount of groundwater that enters into the sanitary sewer system. A very good example of this was a $100,000 sewer bill we recently received from Citizens Energy Group. This is a direct result of rainwater entering the sewer system, and we have to slow that down. In 2015, we continued to add street lighting in the alleys. This is a program that we started about 3 years ago without any fanfare, as our concern for the prevention of crime and personal safety were the sole reasons for these additions. In 2015, we focused on repairing sidewalks. Money was budgeted for this exact purpose. There are several areas of our city where sidewalks need much attention and areas where there are no sidewalks at all. Much work has also been done to comply with ADA plans pursuant to sidewalk landings throughout our city. In 2016, an additional $10,000 was budgeted to repair or replace sidewalks. We look forward to continuing to make sidewalk repairs, and we search for areas vulnerable for people with disabilities. In 2015, we were so fortunate to be able to start some environmental initiatives to make our city better. I have always felt that our city wasn't doing enough to promote the environment. In 2015, we started offering free curbside recycling for residential properties. This popular program has taken off, and our delivery of normal trash to Covanta and the landfill has been drastically reduced. Our city became a clean community through IDEM. This wasn't easy. We had much work and inspections to do, but we accomplished this goal. We are only one of 18 cities in Indiana that meet this standard. We now offer free paper shredding 2 times a year. You can now drop off old and expired medicine at the police department, and we now collect and dispose of light bulbs in every municipal building. But I think the best thing that may very well be the cleaning up of fueling stations and the removal of underground storage tanks. Our park system no longer has fuel tanks in the parks. The fire department no longer has a fuel tank. Underground storage tanks at the police station and at the Department of Public Works have been removed. Soil has been removed, and monitoring wells have been installed to monitor the groundwater in these areas. Now, the only location municipal vehicles can get fuel is out at the Department of Public Works. They house one above ground fuel tank, diesel, and one above ground gasoline tanks. I can't tell you how much better from an environmental standpoint that we are from this same time last year. In 2015, design work continued on the Churchman Avenue sidewalk project. This project consists of the installation of sidewalks on Churchman Avenue from Emerson Avenue to Arlington Avenue. The IMPO moved the project up 1 year, so by this time in 2017, NDOT will let out the project for bid. This is great news. In February of this year, we should hear if we will receive approximately $2.5 million in funding from the IMPO for a greenway that will wind through our beautiful city. This $2.5 million project, if awarded, will make a drastic improvement in the quality of life of our residents and increase property values as well. As time has progressed, we have become more involved with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Planning Organization, IMPO. As mayor, I serve on the technical committee along with the regional freight committee and the alternative transportation bicycle committee. Between now and 2024, our city will be the recipient of bike lanes, possible traffic pattern reconstruction with a roundabout at Arlington Avenue at Churchman, Blue Indy, and the Orange Line concerning mass transit. All of this will change the physical appearance of our city and bring a much more positive change to our city as well. 2016 is continuing to be another good year for our city. The council passed a fully funded and balanced budget. It is our intent to hire additional police officers and one additional firefighter by the end of 2016. Our fire department is set to take delivery of a new fire engine. The Department of Public Works will take delivery of 5 new vehicles to replace an aging fleet. Our Parks Department will take delivery of 2 new vehicles, and our Police Department plans to purchase 4 new vehicles, 3 from the public safety tax and 1 from asset forfeiture. All of these investments will go a long way in continuing to provide the excellent services that the citizens of Beech Grove deserve. In 2016, I plan on keeping our City Council very busy. It is now time to strengthen our enforcement on certain businesses and properties. Ordinances will be presented concerning signs, abandoned vehicles, variety or flea markets, massage therapy locations, pawn shops, landlord registries, public nuisances, fireworks, vendors, peddling, and door-to-door solicitation, trash collection and food distribution for sale out of vehicles. Our compliance division has been instructed to enforce ordinances pertaining to buildings throughout our city, especially Main Street, and continue to focus on residential neighborhoods. In 2016, the City Council is going to have to make a couple of tough decisions concerning sewer rates. We are at the beck and call of Citizens Energy Group, who treats our wastewater that you and I contribute to. It is my understanding that the cost per 1,000 gallons to treat wastewater may increase dramatically should the ruling stand with the IURC in May. If this is the case, the City Council is going to have to act accordingly. That is why I have put the hold on any plans to upgrade to the sanitary sewer or stormwater system until this matter is resolved. It is that important. In 2016, we look to continue to grow from a business standpoint. Hopefully, we will finally become home to community health networks, and Kinectrix Energy will continue to expand with the development of the old refined metals property. We look forward to the opening of the Beech Grove station, and we are finally seeing some movement with the old hospital property. We are in the process of welcoming back the Home Nursing Services, HNS, Division of St. Francis, as they have moved back to our city. Substantial updates are being made to the Alverno Services building to accommodate this transition. By midsummer, we should see much more traffic in that area, as Franciscan Alliance is remodeling the Medical Arts building to move their IT services back to our city as well. As of this Friday, I'm being told that March the 1st is the cutoff date for any type of purchasing the property. Should nothing of substance take place by that date, I have been told again by Franciscan Alliance that the buildings will be torn down. It is my intent to finally move on the landfill property to relinquish our city and its redevelopment commission as property owners. This is a property where thousands of dollars have been spent since annexation and cannot be developed pursuant to moving earth. In 2016, it is my desire to go back and reassess the services we provide to you. I want to focus on activities and services we can provide to you at no cost. This includes conducting drives for food and clothing, at-risk youth programs at the community center, as well as starting the process for early childhood development with our city schools. Talks have also begun for the development of a community garden to deliver healthy foods to the citizens of our city. Finally, I want to discuss your personal safety and the safety of students who go to school to learn. The recent increase in the public safety tax has allowed us to do many things. One of those things is the hiring of additional police officers and firefighters. We have held our own concerning crime. We all know that crime problems that surround us and the many problems associated with drugs, prescription abuse, and broken families. We have to keep up with the events going on around us, and we also have to protect the police officer, whose job has always been, but seems to be increasingly dangerous. We have to change the way we think when it comes to our schools. In 2013, a police officer was placed in our school system, and it worked. It's time to do it again. I intend on instructing our police chief to place a second officer in the school system. This will allow our first officer to stay at the high school and the second officer float between the middle school and South Grove Intermediate. I would certainly encourage our school system to take every measure at their disposal to protect the students and the staff from outside influence while they are in the building. It is unfortunate that we have come to this point, but this is what I believe to be the best course of action to attempt to mitigate any type of issue that may confront us in the future. It is proper to install cameras, lock all doors to deny public access into school buildings, and to electronically unlock doors to let people in only after they have been cleared. So how are we doing? The city is continuing to move forward. Our main objective is your safety and well-being. We will continue to invest in local roads and streets, our infrastructure, improve our services delivered to you, clean up our city, and we will continue to promote growth and redevelopment throughout. We will continue to invest in our parks, only making it better for our city, and we will continue to work with our school system to improve the quality of life for all. The recent election is clear proof of how the citizens feel about who should lead their city and their approval of where the city is headed. I'm very disturbed by how unprofessional others conducted themselves and the unwarranted attacks on my family and my personal life. This is a very disturbing pattern for those on both sides of the political aisle who would be excellent candidates for public office. The voters have spoken and re-elected me as your mayor for the next 4 years. I assure you that I will continue to do what I think is in the best interest of our city. I thank you for allowing me to continue to serve as your mayor. God bless you, and God bless this beautiful city. Thank you.